because we have head coach Todd Bowles here with us on First Take. Thank you so much for joining us.
No problem. Glad to be here.
Yes, year 2 for us. You are in your sophomore campaign, of course, here as head coach of the team. So you guys get the deal with Ryan Fitzpatrick, a 1-year deal, but you said you're not opposed to having 4 quarterbacks on your roster. So it's 1 year with Fitz. So what's the expectation for him?
Well, to come in hopefully and do better than he did last year, because we didn't make the playoffs. As an offense, we got to get better. As a defense, we got to get better. But there was great chemistry, and he led us to have 10 wins this year. We got to try to get more than that to get the playoffs.
Speak to me specifically when you say the defense has to get better. Explain.
So we busted some assignments last year. We gave up some cheap touchdowns, and we got to get better at that. Obviously, our tackling has to get better. It wasn't better every game there, and we got to learn to work together schematically.
As you bring up tackling, how about offensive tackles for a second? Like, this is something that's somehow underreported, I feel like, right? You got Clady in for DeBrickashaw Ferguson. If Clady is healthy, you got a beast on the line. But that's a big if to be plugging in for blindside protection, Coach. What's your expectation?
Well, he's healthy, so, coming in, we knew what we had when we got him. We replaced a good guy with another good guy. We love Brick, and we love Ryan, and he continues to get better day by day. He's healthy. We're just fine at that position.
What percentage of his old self do you feel like he is?
He's probably at 90% right now.
That's a pretty good player.
Yeah. Jason Morrow, I saw some promise a couple of years back. He was out last season with a shoulder injury. How's he looking thus far, and what you think you're going to get from the tight end spot, considering what you didn't get last year with him out?
Well, Jay's being healthy. I'm glad to have him out here running around right now. He's competing. We got a bunch of guys at that position that's competing right now. Kellen's our number 1. Tough blocker. Jason's coming in there. He's picking up the blocking very well. We all know he runs routes and catches the ball. He just has to stay healthy.
If you had to pinpoint one particular reason of all the issues that you had last year, you still ended up finishing 10-6. If you had to pinpoint one reason as to why you guys didn't make the playoffs, what would it be?
I don't think we realized how good we were until maybe 3/4 of the way through the season. I thought it was just belief and trust. And as we got to know each other and got to trust each other, and they got to trust each other on the field, they started playing better. By that time, we've blown too many ball games.
But what happened in the last game against Buffalo then?
Oh, they just beat us. They beat us. They came out and played better than us. We don't have any excuses for that. They beat us flat out.
How do you prepare your team to face that situation? It doesn't look like anyone's going to run away with the AFC East. So it's the last game of the season again. Win and you're in. How does Coach make sure that his team is the team that's the best team on that day this season?
Well, hopefully we can get in before the last game, and if so, we learned from last year's mistakes. We understand what we did wrong. Hopefully we matured in a year, and if it comes down to that, I think we got enough leaders on this team to carry us through.
Yeah, Coach, you said your team didn't realize how good they were, and you mentioned that you wanted to have a senior council of leadership. Is that part of it that could help you take the next step, the leadership issue?
That's part of it. it's not so much on the field as it is off the field, doing the right things and picking each other up when they get down, and the older guys have to step up and do that, and I think you need that in every locker room.
Who is the leader in the locker room?
We have a bunch of them right now. We have Mangold, you got Marshall, you got Decker, you got Revis, you got David Harris, you got Fitz, you got Gino. Forte came and added some. Clady added some. So we have a bunch of guys right now speaking up.
Talking about Forte and Clady, you also brought in McClendon in the middle on defense. Of the guys you brought in, of all the guys you brought in, who do you look at and go, that could be the pivotal guy, that could be the impact guy?
Well, right now, I think it's between Clady and McClendon. McClendon's so underrated. We lost a good player, and we got a good player, and he can play up and down the line of scrimmage, and when Ryan's healthy, he can man the left side pretty good, so I think both of those guys are pivotal players.
Is McClendon still taking ballet lessons? I heard he was taking ballet lessons when he was with the Steelers. Is he still doing that now, Coach?
Sweet
I don't
feet.
think he's doing that now, but he gave up his tutu.
Let me get back to Let me get back to Ryan Fitzpatrick, because he's here now, but it took him a while to get here. How concerned were you that he wouldn't be here? How confident are you, or were you, that this team would be fine no matter what happened?
Well, like I said before, if he got here and got hurt, we would have to play without him. So we were preparing. As the season gets near, you got to start planning to play with who's here and not who's not here. So we felt Gino made some good strides in the spring, and he was taking some reps. We hadn't put the pads on yet or done anything, but if Fitz goes down tomorrow, we're going to have to play with the guys we have here. So we were more or less waiting on a decision one way or the other, ready to move on or ready to have them back. But clarity was one thing that the guys in the locker room probably needed. So I think we were ready to move on either way.
I remember reading a quote where Geno Smith said he was playing for all 32 teams. Last time I checked, he plays for the New York Jets. Any issue with that quote whatsoever?
No, no issue at all. No issue at all. I think every player on every team, when you're auditioning and you're playing for your team, at some point you become a free agent. You're playing for everybody else, too. So that's normal.
Okay.
Boy, way to diffuse that, Coach.
No.
I thought he had you.
Not at all. Just asking the question. Just asking the question.
Year 2, what are you preaching?
Consistency, leadership, getting on each other. Chemistry, big-time chemistry, and we're trying to get that accomplished this
A lot of noise has been made about Darrelle Revis from the standpoint he still had a pretty good year, but you hear people speculating that he lost a step. We bring up what happened against DeAndre Hopkins, even though he got targeted 12 times. He had just 5 receptions, but it was 118 yards in that particular loss to the Houston Texans. What did you see from Darrelle Revis last year? What are you seeing from him now? How do you feel?
I feel great. We see the same great player we had. He got beat on the one deep ball against DeAndre, but everybody gets beat. And as much as he plays man and man's that side of the field, you know, anybody complaining about him probably doesn't have him right now. Mm-hmm. If he went on the market right now, I'm pretty sure 31 teams will take him.
I mean, if they're targeting him, he had 5 interceptions last year, only 2 the year before. That tells me they think he did lose a step. They're targeting him more. That might work out for you, Coach. You come away with the ball a little bit more.
I don't know if they targeted him more. I think it's a matter of reading coverages and things we put him in that put him in those situations to throw the ball at him. But if that's the case, I'm happy they do it.
What about the loss of Antonio Cromartie? He's gone now. You're taking screen. You're taking him from the slot, putting him to the outside, if I remember correctly. Talk to me about what you feel and how you feel about your secondary outside of Darrelle Revis.
Outside of Revis, I think our safeties are fine with Gilchrist and Calvin Pryor and Rontez stepping up in there. But the right corner spot between Buster and Marcus Williams and D. Milner right now, I think is a great competition right there. We lost a lot of veteran leadership with Cromartie right there. You know, it's tough being a number 2 corner when you have a great guy on the other side of you, knowing you're going to get about 25 passes almost every other game. So these guys got to develop mental toughness, and they got to stay out there, and I think they're doing that right now.
D. Milner, I haven't heard that name in quite a long time. I mean, you know, a couple of years ago, I mean, they would talk about him being a rookie and still being the number 1 corner. That's how small the position was, and then you got the Revis and Cromartie in here. How's he coming along? How's Milner coming along? How you feeling about him compared to whatever else you have?
Well, D's healthy right now. That's the biggest thing. It's the first time we really getting a chance to look at D. He was hurt all last year when we had him. Him coming in right now, being healthy and playing faster and first time back in the scheme and having pads on right now. We're excited to see what he can do, but he's right there in competition with Buster and Marcus.
Does Forte diversify the offense in a way that was necessary? I mean, you're also replacing a very productive guy at that position, but maybe Forte a little more versatile. Is that the idea with him, to diversify the attack a little bit?
It is. He can do all 3. I know we lost Ivory. He was a great back. We think we got a great back in Forte, so he can flex out, and he's probably got a tad bit better running route skills than Ivory does. Not taking away anything from Ivory because he's a great player, but we think Matt can diversify some of the things we do.
So given that you keep replacing these good players with players who may be even more useful in the upcoming season, given the fact that you guys didn't realize how good you were until later in the season, and maybe that was the difference, how does Coach right now impress upon these guys how good they are, right? Like, how do you do that in preseason heading into the season so you can hit that stride at the earliest point?
Well, we got to play situational football better. We can't panic, and we got to understand we put them in situations thousands of times, so when they get in them in games, it'll be easy. There won't be any panic. Everybody will be on the same page. There's a confidence level there. Haven't been together for a year, which they weren't last year. Some of that was chemistry. So having been together for a year and going through the same things all the time and having everybody here at camp at the same time, I think that'll help us.
Pressure to make the playoffs this year?
No pressure. We're trying to make it every year. I mean, we're trying to make the playoffs. We're trying to get to the Super Bowl. So that's our goal, and anything short of that, I guess we'll be disappointed again like we were last year.
Todd Bowles, head coach of the New York Jets, thank you so much for making time, and thank you so much for having First Take here. We love being here at your beautiful facility. We appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, Coach.
Best of luck this
Having me on.
season.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate
More
it.
First Take after the break from Florham Park, New Jersey. It is beautiful.